So we open with the group of men on the corner playing dice, talking about how they seen Tupac and Michael Jackson up at the corner store. So they can't be in New York because they're calling it a corner store and not a bodega. So I'm guessing Chicago. Piggly Wiggly. Maybe the DMV? Yeah, it's got to be Tidewater if they got a Piggly Wiggly. Wait, they selling CDs? But Michael's dead. That don't make no sense. So we've got this kid Junebug and this other guy Fontaine, and Junebug rides on his bike to go get Fontaine, and now they driving somewhere. So they drive up on the local crack man. Oh Lord, he done ran somebody over on purpose. So he's robbing the guy that he just hit with the car. He says, "Stop selling your mess in my neighborhood. That's one way to get your streets clean." But he calls his boss Isaac. So Fontaine goes back to his place to chill. So we've got a commercial for a country fried golden brown chicken place, and I want to go. Reminds me a little bit of Jacob's Kitchen on 143rd and Freddy Doug. But now his friend Big Moss drops by. So he's complaining about Isaac trying to make a move. And Moss has come over with some money, I guess the day's receipts. But he wasn't able to find Slick Charles to get all of their coin. So now Fontaine goes out and they drive around looking for Slick Charles. So a lady of the evening comes up to Fontaine's car and gives him a little information for a few dollars. Lets him know he's at the Royal. Over with Isaac and the guy that got ran over. He's still whining about his leg. Oh, God. So Slick Charles is Jamie Foxx. And he's got another lady of the evening yelling at him, "I'm retiring." So as the lady of the evening takes off from Slick's room, Fontaine pulls up and she tells him, "Room 107, a squealer, a squealer." So Fontaine come in and he looking for the money while Jamie just bumping his gums, talking about layaway plans, pimping 1995. So Fontaine finds Slick's stash and takes it with him. So after that, Fontaine goes to park. He's having some herbal refreshments in his car, but then he gets out and gets offed. Pow, pow, pow. So the other driver drives off. We don't get to see who did it. But the next morning, Fontaine wake up in his house. It was all a bad dream. So he heads over to the corner store to get his morning 40, and he sees someone walking down the street with a blood stain on their shirt, giving a zombie tea. But then a black SUV drives up and throws him in the car and speeds off. Back at the house, Fontaine tries to feed his mom again, but she's watching her stories. And we keep seeing a program from what I'm guessing is his little brother's funeral. I don't know how that's going to tie in, but it's going to tie in somehow. Over at Slick's, he gets a knock on the door. While he's getting his nails done, he told her, "Respect that cuticle." Oh my God. Jamie Foxx is such a thorough actor. The way he just said, "Respect that cuticle." Oh my God. I gotta hear that one more again. Respect that cuticle. Wait a minute. So now Fontaine is knocking on Slick's door and he wants his money. I thought you got your money yesterday. I guess he owed more. However, Slick is like, "You supposed to be dead." So Slick's telling him, "You got shot last night. You should be breathing through some tubes at best." I love the little callbacks to Harlem Nights. In the first scene, he was talking about orange juice, and then he went to grab juice and he said, "If there ain't no juice in the bottle, throw the bottle away." Very akin to, "Why you gonna leave this orange juice in here when there's just a swallow in the bottle?" Pepperidge Farm remembers. So we got Fontaine and Slick going to see the lady of the evening, Yo-Yo, that Fontaine got some information from earlier. So Fontaine asks her, "Did I see you last night?" And she's like, "Yeah, I saw you last night." He said, "Well, did you hear the shots last night?" She said, "Mm-hmm," with the left and right ear. So she recognized the perpetrator's car, so she taking him over to where she's seen it parked before. So the car that they see isn't the car that was in the shootout, but it is the car that they saw the other day that grabbed that zombie guy, the big black SUV. The car in the shootout was a lowrider. So they go into this creepy house. Oh Lord, but Fontaine opens the door and there's an elevator in there. So of course they get in it. So they in the elevator, Yo-Yo get her little pew-pew out. She ready. Girl, if they don't look like the hood Charlie's Angels. I hate how like Netflix and Sling, they won't let you take a screenshot. You use your tablet. So they get down and there's this lab. Michael Jackson's playing. This lab guy's, just doing his thing, bopping to the music. Then he sees him and turns the music off. So they asking him for answers and he's like, I just work here, man. I just work here. So of course, Slick accidentally kills the guy. So they try to get Fontaine because it's time to go, but Fontaine has found a clone of Tyrone. Oop, the alarm's going off. Oh, no, it wasn't a clone of Tyrone. It was a clone of Fontaine. Then why did they call it they cloned Tyrone? But maybe that's the dead Fontaine from last night and he's the clone. So then they flee to Yo-Yo's grandma's house. So Fontaine's like, I don't know what we saw, but that wasn't me. Slick is like, nah, you was dead. They shot you. That was you. So Fontaine tries to leave, but Yo-Yo stops him. She said, look, you gonna bring these people back to us, and I ain't getting probed for Nan. So they wake up the next morning, Fontaine gone. Meanwhile, he back at the house with his boys. They bust in, guns blazing. And the house is totally different. It looks like a normal house. I mean, clearly if these people had a secret lab, they can put some stuff back like nobody ever touched it. So he starts telling his friends about the elevator and the lab, and they like, cuckoo. So his friend tell him, look, you need to drink some water and calm down. Child, then he drive off and leave his friends at the house. So he gets back and he tells them the house is a regular house, the elevator is gone. So we go to that chicken spot we saw earlier and we're chowing down trying to solve the mystery. So they start laughing because everything that's happened is ridiculous. There's 2 Fontaines, one's dead, the lab done disappeared. But now they realize everybody in the place is cracking up and Slick is like, something's in this chicken. LSD. Sometimes it ain't MSG. So Slick realizes that some of the powder he stole from the lab earlier is what's making them laugh that's in the chicken. Oh, and the guy that runs the chicken place looks like the guy they killed in the lab. White men with froze. So they send Yo-Yo back there to seduce him. So she sent him off to go get some chicken and promise a puss as she starts going through the office. So the powder is called Compound H, and 44 seconds after consumption, you get giggly. So she sees they've got the whole darn area under surveillance while stuffing chicken in this fool's mouth. So she's like, we need to find out who's conducting experiments on the neighborhood. Slick is like, well, we're not detectives. We've got a drug dealer, a lady of the evening, and a pimp. But then they see some suspicious people packing boxes in a white van, so they're gonna follow it. So on our way, Fontaine opens up to Yo-Yo about his brother who got murdered by a cop as a kid because he stole some candy. So now they get to where the van is. It looks like some type of electronics store. Him and Yo-Yo are going to check out what they bringing in, and they want Slick to check out what's in the van. Oh, we walk into the salon, and of course it's Riri's. Shout out to School Days. I'm seeing the peppering. Oh, these people are putting it in the perm cream. They're dropping it off at a hair salon. And in the car, Slick sees some type of government ID with the weird key. Oh, it's Lil Murder from P-Valley. So Slick in the van opening up the boxes they had, and they got grape drink. So they just put it in everything we gonna consume. Now, I like Welch's. I don't like a grape drink, but I do like a Welch's. Oof. Welch's with ice on a warm summer day takes me back to childhood. So now Fontaine getting in an argument with Lil Murder. So they gotta take off before they get Slick. They call him, but he left his phone in the car. But apparently Slick stuck in that van and now he getting driven to the next location. However, Lil Murder's like, Fontaine, you should be dead. So Yo-Yo sees Slick trapped in the van and she's like, look, we ain't got time to argue about this. We gotta go. So they go back to the corner store and ask the old guy out in front who, is kind of high but probably a little on it, where they should go to find him. Because, he always watching. So he sends them through a convoluted series of clues to Mount Zion Church. So they find him, he's still in the back of the van, and they get slick out. So now we in church during a sermon, and they're serving that grape drink as communion at this church. Child, so the praise break just turned into a dance club. But now after the sermon, we're looking around the church. So they use the key card from the truck to get into, I guess this is the organ? Yep, and another elevator pop up. So they get in the elevator again. So they get to the bottom floor. I guess they jump these guys to get, the suits that everybody's walking around down there in. But everybody's walking around in suits with these mirror face masks, so you can't tell who's who or what's what. Wow, so they've got a whole city under the Glen. So we see they experimenting on people down there. Okay, they show how they're manipulating behavior because they had two guys fighting and then they put on a song and then they calmed down and started to hug. So they want to get out and tell somebody and save the people in there because they're experimenting with mind control. However, Fontaine said, I'm not leaving till I get what I came for. They like, you gonna get us killed. And he probably is. So now they go to the basement where they've got like a Matrix kind of hive of people, and they're all clones. Oh goodness. Child, Fontaine had seen one of the clones and had to shoot him, meaning he was like in there, it wasn't a threat or anything. They sleeping in them hives. Hive, honeycomb, Yo-Yo's like, Tang, calm down. You're gonna let everybody know we here. Oh, it was a clone of him. I don't know. I feel like if I ran into another me, we'd be on the same team. We're very logical. We'd be like, hey, okay, you ain't done nothing to me. I ain't done nothing to you. We could take turns filming and editing, doing the dishes. Ooh, I get so much more done. I mean, my parents are twins, so it wouldn't be that odd to me, I guess. And I mean, we're the same person. Then I would also be like, so am I that bad? Finally, a roommate I could split an apartment with. Because it gets boring living alone. We could share dogs. Oh, that would be a blast. The brother I never had. So they're able to get out of there and go up through the strip club entrance. And that's the first half of the movie, and we will catch up with the second half of the movie tomorrow because it's like a good 2 hours and there's a lot going on. So I'm going to see y'all for the rest of it tomorrow. We're going to get to love and hip hop.